I'll just go one ear.
These aren't the starters. These aren't the starters necessarily. I'm seeing a little bit of difference here. I think he's one of the starters.
And we're here for another game at the 2020 Crush in the Valley, presented by the Grind Session on Tanager Sports. I'm here with Chris Babcock of NorCal Sports TV. We're covering the matchup between St. Patrick St. Vincent Bruins. They'll be in green versus the Weston Ranch Cougars in white. So, Chris, you're familiar with both of these teams. What do you expect to see in this matchup?
Well, Weston Ranch struggled at the beginning of the season, went through some adversity, but Coach Teven's gotten playing their best basketball at the right time. Today they need to continue to shoot with confidence, continue to get contributions from their bench, and control the glass and pace. You've got Deshaun Jackson of St. Vincent Bruins, one of the best big men in the country, and they've been playing some good basketball, and their coach has not done them any favors as far as their scheduling goes. So expecting a big game here today, Skylar. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. So up with the ball first will be the Bruins. On the ball, Jalen Scott.
And the key for the Bruins is the good floor spacing so that you can't double and triple team Jackson down low when he goes into the post.
And Coylton with the steal and the layup. Weston Ranch on top first.
So at one point this year, Weston Ranch was 6-10, but peaking at the right time, Weston Ranch is starting to put things together, looking towards the postseason. Coach Teven in his 9th season. And both these teams have played tough schedules, including especially today's game.
From our talk before the game, it definitely sounds like the way California runs their state tournaments. You got complicated schedule, a lot of tough games across the board.
Yeah, both these teams, and I've seen them a number of times this year, and there's the simple offense that you got to rinse and repeat, but they try enough, but if they get the floor spacing, there's the example of how easy really it can be, and especially if Deshaun is running the court and playing with a lot of energy. Not a lot of centers, not only in this gym, this state, or even this country that could play with him, but they need to see that consistent effort. I think he's tasting it, sensing that his high school season's coming to an end pretty soon, and he'll have an opportunity been offered to such schools as California and Arizona.
Anybody that gets them definitely going to be lucky to have them. You know, it's got to be great playing on a team like that if you're a shooter. Everybody traps in on him, kick it out to you wide open. They missed one there.
And you cannot allow the Bruins to get second chance opportunities, but if you make a mistake, Weston Ranch is going to run and be successful.
2 layups now for Coylton. He's got all 4 for Weston Ranch.
Just a junior. The future is bright at Weston Ranch, and including the rest of their season. Alexander, a very athletic player, averaging nearly 18 a game and 8 rebounds, and he can really jump and explode, get quickly off the floor.
Corner 3 short. They get the offensive board, but a travel will be called against the Cougars.
Nice hustle by Johnson, but stepped on the baseline. And we were talking about not much adversity last season for Weston Ranch. They had a 30-game winning streak snapped by De La Salle in the opening round of the CIF NorCal playoffs. And then at the outset of this season, they faced adversity right away, and that's just not losing games. The player ejected, etc. We won't get into that, but Coach Teven talked to him before the game. He's real happy with the way his team is performing. And they've got some experienced players. Wilburn's a very good athlete at 6'3", averaging nearly 6 rebounds and 12 points a game. And another junior, Don J. Lindsay, a swingman, averaging nearly 16 a game.
It seems to be a good matchup on the floor, too. About the same height outside of Jackson.
Most certainly.
Works underneath, gets the rebound, put back, no good, and a rebound by Jordan Johnson.
Might have forced that opportunity instead of pulling up the free throw line, and the Bruins will run.
And the Bruins score on the other end.
Jalen Scott, a 4-year varsity player, was a member of that CIF D4 championship, averaging 14 a game and 4 assists. He's been there, done that.
Shot off for Haley, up quick for the Bruins.
Jaden Alexander is very confident near that basket with the ball in his hand. He goes very strong. A lot of times you'll see kids he goes right to the basket and earns a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play.
And that's what coaches always preach to their kids: attack the basket, get the foul. And like you said, the confidence he has, follow through for the and one opportunity. She does not convert. And we got a timeout called by Weston Ranch. That'll be a full timeout, so we'll take a break. You're tuned in to Crushing the Valley, presented by The Grind Session. Back from the timeout, Cougars with the ball.
You know, and don't want to speculate, but knowing Coach Teven the way I do, that was a timeout based off the lack of defense via the post play and getting back on that last transition play with Alexander. And you like to see a team after a timeout, Skylar, see how they do. They score a basket.
And they give it up to Jackson.
So there's something just it looks very easy, and it was. He's bigger than everybody else. But sealing with your hip, doing the things fundamentally with his feet, setting himself for an easy catch, keeping the ball up high, and not bringing it down with a rhythm dribble and just finishing at the basket.
That's one of the biggest mistakes you see from big man. They always feel they have to put the ball on the ground, and that always works in the advantage of the defense. And we get a foul now on number 1, Jalen Scott. That sends to the line number 2, Quilton. He'll have 2. Into the game for the Bruins, number 23, Fafita. And the second one goes.
Carlton's been in the right place at the right time today. You get a lot of good things happen when you hustle.
Strong on the shot there. They're up quick, and a steal almost, but knocks it out of bounds.
So there's where the aggressiveness of Alexander worked against himself. He might have wanted to pull up there or share the ball with a teammate. And a wild shot hits off the side of the rim, and it's a opportunity the other way for Weston Ranch. So these teams that we're seeing today are getting ready to turn to their second half of league. So this is kind of a launching point for teams where you kind of mark things on the calendar and playing Crush in the Valley, and then what happens and how do you finish the rest of the season.
And a great opportunity here at this event. I believe it's the 5th year, I think, Crush in the Valley has been going on. It's a great showcase for all these teams participating and to show some some fans that may not get to see you on a frequent basis.
Most certainly, you're gonna be playing in a nice gym here at Solano College, and the hospitality the kids get, it's a real nice event. And there's Alexander again, running the floor. Those are the things that don't take any ability, but just take toughness and can do. And then good things happen. Alexander ran the court, was awarded, and get to the basket.
The first free throw is off for Jaden Alexander. Now into the game is Wilfred Nato. He substitutes in for Contreras. Weston Ranch with the movement around the top.
And Coach Stevens, see, there's an example of not trying to block the shot, just being vertical with your hands. And when you're 6'10", those hands can reach up fairly high, and gets the stop, the held basketball.
We go the other way. Jalen Scott has it stolen.
Was hustled back on defense, but called for the block. And it'll be free throws for Lindsay.
Lindsay's first one is off.
And you see some substitutions for the Cougars. Coach Stevens is very pleased how his bench has played during this 5-game winning streak. And when you get bench contributions and you have capable scorers and your starters, you don't see that big drop off. You're capable if you're down by a few or you're up by 5. You don't have to beat your guys into the ground. Keep them fresh, and then you get everybody playing hard.
Great hesitation there by Jackson.
And he didn't dribble. So often you see I do the rhythm dribble, and Deshaun not doing that.
Three-pointer.
And watch him just run the court there. When he's doing that, good luck.
It's all too often the big man's your trailer.
Yeah.
So if you got the big man out front, that's just havoc for the defense.
Because you panic if you're the defensive team and he's out in front of you. And then everybody's going to shift to him, and then they've got capable scorers with Scott and Alexander.
Nice step back shot, but it's off for Hanspard. There he is again. And draws the foul.
Now, watching Deshaun since he's been a freshman, and, and he is a very good athlete. and he's run into some injuries here and there. Had some probably try to get into shape too fast coming into the season when he probably should have been in shape. But right now, I've just in this less than 7 minutes, you see what he's capable of.
Off on the first free throw, a substitution each by the Cougars and Bruins.
And hopefully the same type of passion he's showing here on the court, that he's finishing the rest of the year in the classroom with that kind of passion. And then the opportunities just will open up for that young man.
So Jackson now takes the second and misses that one as well. They currently lead by 5. And a 3 is good for Lindsay.
Nice spacing by the Cougars. Easy 3 that he's shot probably 10,000 times this month.
Jackson through contact, no good. Cougars with the ball headed the other way. And we are under a minute now in the first quarter as we get a foul against the Bruins. This one against number 23, Fafita.
Gavin Wilburn, very competitive player. He's won a lot of basketball games as a varsity player and fearless going to the basket. You're looking at the games that are going to be played the rest of the day, and, well, this one will be a good one. This one will be a good one. Yeah, it's not only for the fans of the teams, but if you're just a high school basketball fan, we appreciate you watching, but, you know, if you're local here, what a great opportunity to see a lot of excellent basketball players.
Oh, yeah, all day long. And, of course, the host school, Prolific Prep, if you want to see some future NBA players right here at Solano College, you can see it.
And the co-host, Salesian.
You're right.
And we don't want to, you know, Coach Richie of Bishop O'Dowd was worried. He goes, are we going to be playing at midnight tonight? I said, you know, it's a pretty well-oiled machine, and they played in every crush in the Valley. But it's funny that he mentioned, I'm like, you know, to me, we love doing the game, so whatever it takes.
We see the last about 45 seconds, Jackson been on the bench to get that extra rest going into the end of the quarter. As Cougars miss an opportunity on a 3 and get a steal. But not able to get the shot off in time. So at the end of the first 8 minutes, it is St. Patrick, St. Vincent 13, Weston Ranch 12. We'll take a quick break between quarters. You're tuned in to the 2020 Crush in the Valley, presented by the Grind Session on Tanager Sports. And we're back from the end of the first quarter. As mentioned, the Bruins on top of the Cougars by 1. It'll be Weston Ranch Cougar ball to start the second quarter. And as imagined, Jackson back in the game for the Bruins.
And I'm aging myself, but those are the things that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar would do. They would do for him is get him out right there at the end of the quarter and give him a chance to enjoy that break and then get him back into the game. I'm not doing any comparisons. I'm just saying that used to be a deal because that's my favorite all-time basketball player. So nice offense by Weston Ranch.
They caught him sleeping just a bit as it was Johnson who made the basket.
Nice back cut, catching, and just finishing with a purpose.
Just get past a steal on that one and a turnover. Pass was intended on the baseline for number 21. Too high on the pass. Lindsay passes over to the wing. Three-pointer, that one is off for Cody Hanspard. And a substitution for the Bruins here. About a minute into the second period.
And sometimes when you press, it's not necessarily to get turnovers. It's to slow down the other team, get them laid into a shot clock. But if they break it like that, it's easy times for Deshaun.
You force the defender to choose between two people, and he can exploit you when you do it.
Sometimes you get the bear, sometimes the bear gets you.
So fill me in on the rules here. In California, we run the 35-second shot clock, right? Does it reset all the way back to the top?
Yes, yes. At the other levels, no, it doesn't, but here it does.
And we get a rebound by Noah Franklin. Passes to the wing, Contreras.
Jackson wants the ball, trying to seal the defender.
Pass back for a wide, they collapsed on him, so it was a wide open shot, a good look.
And Jordan Johnson doing a good job playing Jackson down low on that last possession, and then Wilburn finishes.
You know it takes discipline for Jackson to go straight up there because he's too valuable to come out of a game. But on the other end, they're going to get him for a charge. Almost got around it, I guess just enough contact in the referee's eyes.
Johnson just finished at the basket. We talked about just running and hustling and playing with effort. On top of their ability, there's an example. Gets the layup, sprints the court, and draws the charge. Gets there in plenty of time, and Johnson called for the foul. Or Jackson, rather.
Get a wet spot cleaned up here. It'll be full court pressure from the Bruins. And it's Haley bringing it up the court. In the corner, Wilburn pulls. No, he passes to the wing. That's Quilton knocking down the three-point play.
They cross-court pass 3 times. Keeps the defense off balance, and then wide open looks. I love the offense of not dribbling, monopolizing the basketball, but when you do it with a purpose and then share the ball and keep the defense off balance. The veteran Scott with the tip in.
It's a 2-point lead for the Cougars right now. Kind of a quiet lead as they were trailing that first quarter. And they extend it back up to 4 with that basket.
Jackson got away with the foul, and I love Johnson taking it right to the basket. And so does Contreras.
Matching efforts on both ends of the court on offense right now.
I think it was a fairly low-scoring first quarter based off what's going to happen here in the second.
Block.
First Wilson Burger serve back hot.
And we got a rebound, but Jackson a little bit strong and high on the pass.
Sometimes there's a rebounding and a tempo to a fast break, especially if you're battling bodies down there. You won't make that crisp a pass. They throw that ball 9 other times. It's probably not a turnover. Sometimes you just got to take a little bit more time and possess the basketball, then share it with a teammate.
Johnson just off on that one.
And as soon as Jackson's out of the game, the Cougars will increase of taking that ball to the basket.
A great floater there by Contreras in the paint. Finesse with the left hand, but yeah, that's always seems to be the game plan. When a star comes out of the game, you got to take advantage of every single possession. And Colton might have got away with one there.
And then another silly turnover, then it turns out being a foul on Alexander. Lindsey playing hard, and a couple of different times the Bruins haven't given themselves just like that weight room position. Just go and grab it and then proceed. And you get in a hurry and it turns into a turnover, a foul, and a couple of free throws.
That's Lindsey at the line. He knocks down his first one.
And I saw Weston Ranch earlier in the season. Now this was without without Gavin Wilburn, but they are playing with so much more energy. And then I saw him one other time on tape in the middle of the season, but right now playing with a lot of passion and sharing the basketball. And you have athletic ability, especially getting the basket, good shooters. When you share the ball and have good spacing, it's a hard night to defend.
Jalen Scott there off the glass with the left, a beautiful touch. There's those skip passes you talk about into the corner. And missed the rim altogether. We're headed the other way. A foul by number 32, Blackmore. Correction, that's a foul on Wilburn. Wrong team.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about it. You got to keep your composure, because in the CIF, if you, and not to bring this up, but just to explain the rules, CIF, you get ejected from a game, and I'm not saying he's close to that, but just the rule, you miss the next game. So it's literally a two-game penalty.
And he's shown himself very valuable in these
yes.
first 13 minutes.
And his competitiveness, and sometimes that gets the best of him, but you just got to learn. And Coach Teven knows his players. Took him out briefly. He's going to, let him cool down, get hydrated, and then they'll put him back into the basketball game.
The refs get together here to discuss. And like I thought there originally, number 2, Coylton, knocked it off the knee of a Bruin player, so they get to play.
I like the officials getting together and with the attempt to try to get it right. We'll let the people at home judge what that is, but I like that. I'm pro-official. There's not enough of them. And I think a lot of the ways that they get treated, I'm sorry, goes back to the way the NBA players act when they've committed a foul. And I think if they exhibited a little bit better behavior, it would improve the way officials are treated in basketball.
That's definitely one of the hardest
jobs. You could probably hear folks behind us, and that's fine.
Clean up another wet spot here. All tied at 23 now.
Because they watch film, they talk about the rules, they meet beforehand. And for NorCal Sports TV I work for, they watch a lot of the games because they want to get better. And they'll call themselves out if they make a bad call. So And I used to not feel that way, but
Hey, it's easier in our seat than it is down on those benches to feel that way too.
Most certainly, when you're emotionally connected to the game.
So it's Bruin ball now.
Then they like to get confirmation if you didn't hear that. One of the officials came over and asked if it was a good call.
So we got a corner three by Johnson, I believe.
Their first three of the game.
Floater is off. Rebound goes to Jaden Alexander. Knocked out of bounds by the Cougars.
Another one of those possessions where there's still a lot of traffic. And just let things clear and then make that pass.
Jalen Scott, senior guard who brought it up, now off to Contreras. Just a reminder, the man making the knowledge rain down here beside me, Chris Babcock with NorCal Sports TV. Glad to have you with us, Chris.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I definitely don't have this insight on California sports,
That's
so it makes
okay.
the listening good.
We've got coaches that really support us and answer our emails, our texts. We're well connected with, so we'll guide you along, and we appreciate the opportunity today.
So we get a travel called there, tried to Euro step, and just went a little too far with it. Tariq Johnson brings it up. And a handoff. Scott drives through contact, and they call a charge on that one.
Yeah, I love getting the body in front and attempting to get that charge, but I think he's there late. But I like Scott taking the ball to the basket, and that's his talent. Very good shooter as well.
The Bruins sleeping there, not realizing the inbound was coming, and the Cougars capitalize on it, but they still trail by one.
They're breaking the press, and it's easy to go to the basket when the big fella's on the bench.
Great take. Left-hand layup for Jaden Alexander. Another skip pass. This one rims out on the floor. Cougars get it. And a layup. That one goes for Lindsay.
When Johnson gets the ball in his hands, forget about it. He's strong with it, can find a teammate, or he'll finish at the basket.
So now about 5 seconds between shot clock and game clock. But Jalen Scott, he'll have the shot clock turned off after that miss.
And here's one of the things that bugs me about basketball is you're working time off the clock. And before the quarter, these guys now they'll go and attack. But they're not just standing around. And then Wilburn with the three. Johnson, oh my goodness.
And they just get that one off in time. It's a good hustle play, gives them the lead going into the half. So Weston Ranch on top, 29-28.
It's a different game when Jackson isn't in the game. Forget what he does offensively, the presence under the defensive glass, and the Cougars took advantage.
So that'll do it for the first half in this one. We'll take a break and come back to you for the start of the second. You're tuned in to the 2020 Crush in the Valley, presented by The Grind Session and Tanager Sports.
The thing about basketball I love is winning, pretty much. It's my favorite thing. I hate to lose. And And second thing I love is just getting better at the game. You know, it's a real fun game to play, and you know, getting better is just a great thing to see. Like, progress for me is just always great to see.
This game of basketball, I love the competitiveness of it, and you know, the challenge I get from it, and I take it real serious because, you know, I love the game itself. I don't disrespect it. I respect it a lot, and I work hard at it.
I love basketball because I just been around it all my life. You know, all my parents played it, and I just inherited the love and passion for the game. The one thing I would say is the atmosphere, like, and the competitiveness. Like, you can sense that out as soon as you walk in the gym. I just love that type of atmosphere.
I just love basketball ever since I was a kid. My dad played it, and I'm trying to get it from my mom. One thing that inspired me is my family, my city. I do it for them.
The reason why I love basketball is because I'm a very competitive person. You know, that's why I store all my energy. When I'm on the court, I'm at peace. You know, and to be honest, I mean, I don't know. I'm just a really competitive person, and I think basketball is where I can put everything at. It's the place where I can put all of my energy and my anger. I mean, I wasn't really fortunate, you know, and you know, basketball is where all my abilities and my talents fall into place, and I just feel like that's what keeps me going. You know, that's what I work on. That's my craft, and that's it.
The grind session is a great circuit. Kind of reminds me a lot of AAU, playing against the best players, best talent, night in, night out, and it's something that I love to do because you know, playing against this type of talent, it only makes you better. You know, I don't want to, you know, come out here and just waste my time and play against some guys who can't play. If I'm gonna play, I want to play against the best.
The grind session is a good experience, and it's a lot of competition, and it's a good way for me and my teammates to get noticed. I'm just really trying to show who the best player is, who the best team is, and I'm trying to show that I'm the best player. So,
The grind session is probably, you know, one of the best tournaments and to have the best events in the country. I mean, anytime you can have that much talent in one gym, going against each other every night and competitive, is just remarkable. I mean, for one, it lets you know where your game stand at. You know, going against these top dudes every night, you just got to bring your A game. You know, you can't have no off day. You just got to go hard and, you know, just hold your ground every game.
The grind session has been a grind. You know, it's a great tournament. It's a great idea. Whoever thought of it, and you know, it's been tough, but I like it because you know, it really challenges me. And our team has been, you know, a little bit setback. We've been short on a few games because we have a few injuries. But that's the beauty of it, because none of it is easy. None of the games are easy at all. You know, we've been playing against the top guys in the whole American country and Canada. They've been playing against everybody in the U.S. here, and it's been crazy.
Oh yeah, the grind session is pretty competitive, to be honest. The last couple of games I played in grind session has been pretty hard. You know, I really had to like play to my top game, and like no rest, no breaks during the game. And I don't know, I just really like it. It's just really competitive. A lot of great players are in this little tournament, and I just really enjoy playing against them.
Welcome to the grind. This is the grind session. thing about basketball I love is winning. Pretty much, it's my favorite thing. I hate to lose. And second thing I love is just getting better at the game. You know, it's a real fun game to play, and you know, getting better is just a great thing to see. Like, progress for me is just always great to see.
This game of basketball, I love the competitiveness of it, and you know, the challenge I get from it, and I take it real serious because, you know, I love the game itself. I don't disrespect it. I respect it a lot, and I work hard at it.
I love basketball because I just been around it all my life. You know, all my parents played it, and I just inherited the love and passion for the game. The one thing I would say is the atmosphere, like, and the competitiveness. Like, you can sense that out as soon as you walk in the gym. I just love that type of atmosphere.
I just love basketball ever since I was a kid. My dad played it, and I'm trying to get it from my mom. One thing that inspired me is my family, my city. I do it for them.
The reason why I love basketball is because I'm a very competitive person. You know, that's why I store all my energy. When I'm on the court, I'm at peace. You know.
And we're back for the second half of action. Currently, it is Weston Ranch on top of St. Patrick St. Vincent by 1. And the Bruins will start with the ball. So here with Chris Babcock of NorCal Sports TV. Chris, what stood out to you the most in that first half?
Well, how big of an influence Jackson is when he's in the game. The Bruins were able to hold the lead, but he got taken out at the end of the quarter, and the Cougars took advantage. Scott with another 3.
That puts them up by 2 to start the first possession of half number 2. And Coylton was a big part of it for Weston Ranch, and now they have a 3 to match.
They continue to space the floor very well and will attack and approach the key, but guys are getting great spacing and they're hitting their shots.
Get it down to their big man. Nice pass, shot just a little strong, and it's Coylton with the board. Coylton on the drive. They're going to get him with the offensive foul.
Just a little bit out of control, but he has done a good job today of scoring and sharing the ball with his teammates. The Cougars on a 5-game winning streak.
Tried to have a poster printed right there.
Good defense at the basket.
They're going to call a foul. I know you hear the fans behind us shouting for the travel. That foul's going to go against Jackson.
Wilburn got the ball just behind the half-court line and then just goes attack mode right to the basket. And the fans of the Bruins, I think, wanted a traveling call. Wilburn got the foul and 2 free throws, misses the first. So early on, we've already had 2 lead changes here just to start the third quarter. And it'll be back and forth, I would assume.
The kind of basketball game you want to see. As Noah Franklin checks back in for the Bruins, that's going to send Jackson to the bench.
All right, let's make some notes here when he's out of the game and what happens.
On the drive, Franklin misses, and the putback. That's good for Militar Cross. Sorry, that was Jaden Alexander.
Who had the dunk blocked, and then Johnson finishing the other way. The 2-point lead for the Cougars. And we've got a steal
That one was by Jordan Johnson. And the basket good through contact.
Attacking the basket.
So Johnson on the bench. It's an open lane. It's 37-33. The lead grows to 4 for the Cougars. And we've got the 30-second timeout called. Second timeout over.
Jordan Johnson plays pretty hard. Physical player and running the court. And it's been a team effort today for the Cougars.
So it's Bruin ball. They trail by 4. As we've mentioned, it's been about a minute now that Jackson has been on the bench. Shot is off for Alexander. Up the court quick. And the layup is good for Hanspard.
That's called transition offense. Just playing hard, and they're fresh. I mean, not making excuses. The Bruins played last night, but Western Ranch looks fresh and energized.
Great spin and take, short off the rim. And the roll goes for Tariq Johnson.
Bruins needed that basket, but then the Cougars go right into attack mode.
Euro layup is off for Lindsay. And now it's the Bruins on the run. And that's a rebound by Johnson.
Smart decision there. Didn't like the numbers and set up the offense.
Get it down low, Wilburn. At 2 defenders and the shot with finesse.
Everybody in the Western Ranch bench knew what was going to go on. And you've got the seal down low by Wilburn, and he's confident and competitive, and shooting with confidence was one of the keys today. And there's Johnson once again. He's just playing a great basketball game.
Lindsay running downhill and the lay-in. We're going to get a Bruin timeout as the lead has jumped to 8 points in 2.5 minutes.
It was 33-31 when Jackson checked out of the basketball game. And they're hitting their shots. They're holding St. Pat's to 1 shot, and then they're running. They're getting after it.
It's been downhill every time they had it, minus the one time Johnson stopped on the wing to kind of reset everything up, which led to Wilburn getting a great shot in the paint.
That's when, it's getting late in the year. We're almost near, we are near February. Is you see a team that's playing physical and running the court, but then when you see Johnson cross court, doesn't see the numbers and have the discipline and the trust to say, you know what, I don't like the numbers here, and then they still get an easy basket out of it. So when you can win multiple ways or you can score multiple ways, that's a tough cover, because when a coach gets down and is going to do the scouting report, well, they're going to run, play transition, but then they can also get into the half court. So it's an important possession for St. Pat's. You want to stay connected. You don't want this thing to go double digits to see what happens off the timeout.
That's right, and they got to make sure, too, on any miss, they need everybody full speed back.
Yes, because they're losing that battle of getting back on defense.
Scott has it up top for St. Pat.
And leave it into your seniors' hands here, or Alexander. They set up Scott for a shot, back rim.
textbook block out there for Forbes. Foul is on Noah Franklin for the Bruins.
That one smarts. In football, that's usually where an MCL or an ACL gets blown out. Jackson back into the game after a 2-minute and 58-second rest.
So even with Jackson in the game up to this point, the Bruins have really just maintained the score.
Yes.
Back and forth on, one possession, 2 or 3 points. But now they've got a deficit they got to make up. So he's going to have to start taking over like he did in the first few minutes of the game.
And it gets down to stop and playing a lot better defense, staying in front of your man. And one and done.
Not a bad look, not able to convert. It's Jackson on the boards. They've been missing that. And he's blocked by Wilburn, but they get the ball back.
Great team defense. Wilburn and Johnson working together and defending Jackson when he goes into that spin cycle move. I'd love to just see him set in the post versus trying that move, especially against 2 defenders. And Johnson is just all over the place today.
He got the block there. Now we're going to get a foul called. Johnson is fired up, though. He came to play tonight. That foul will be on Wilburn.
See if it was a worthwhile foul.
It looks like Coach Teven flashed Wilburn with the number 3, so he might be his 3rd foul.
Yeah, I think he wanted the foul called on opposite player, but I love how Johnson and Wilburn play post defense in the last couple of possessions for the Bruins. They take it as a challenge. And, it was probably the first line in Coach Teven's scouting report, stop Jackson. So they're fired up about it. They love the competition.
We'll get a 30-second timeout call. We'll stay with you here. Let's see, if Wilburn does, in fact, have 3 fouls, that's been the key piece here, or one of the 2 key pieces for Weston Ranch. If he has to sit down for any stay like Jackson did, that could be how the Bruins fight back in it.
He feels the team and helping on defense, blocking out. He's a very capable scorer, especially around the basket. Gets a guy on his hip, knows how to do it, being efficient, a quick catch and a move. He's played a lot of varsity basketball games. And when you're 21, 22 games into the season, the end is near. They're going to get in the postseason and the way they're playing today. But regardless, there's your whole career, and it's all behind you. So it's time to leave that legacy. And I think that's something that after go through some adversity, they were 6-10 at one time this year. They've really playing some good basketball.
And doing that tonight against a very solid opponent and top-ranked big man in Deshaun Jackson. As Coylton kicks it to the corner, and the 3 is short. That one rebounded by Alexander. They get it up quick. Good idea.
If you just wait and just catch the ball, Deshaun seals the guy. It's a bounce pass, and it's a dunk or a power layup. But just get in the hurry, not having the sense of what's going on. And that's 4 or 5, maybe 6 times today where St. Pat's has just turned the ball over without really fantastic defense by the opponents.
Another quick shot there. Coylton comes away with it. So both teams with a quick possession on those last 2. So I think if you're Weston Ranch, you're slowing the game down. You've got to lead, get through the game, get your shots. executed well on those backdoor cuts when Jackson's in the game. I think you have to get back to that.
Well, Franklin probably in a hurried shot mode and staying attached to his last possession, which was a turnover.
Contested three.
So now those shots aren't falling, and they're not as close to the basket as they were when Jackson's out of the game. But the Bruins haven't been able to take advantage, but they do right there. Fafita with the three, and it's a three-point game.
Wilburn off his own foot. That's a turnover. Fafita on the floor, but the possession. Oh, wow. We'll see the two different calls. One referee says jump, the other says timeout, but the timeout takes precedence. So it'll be Bruin ball after this 30-second timeout. They trail by 3. And like you said, it's Weston Ranch forcing things now. That's not how they got there earlier, and it's changing the game.
Not to be cliche, but the great UCLA Bruin head coach John Wooden, be quick, but don't hurry. You want to be efficient, but don't play faster than you're capable of. And with the exception of these last couple of minutes for Weston Ranch, they've played that way. But they had a chance to build upon a lead and maybe get that close to double digits, and now it's a three-point game, Bruin basketball.
That's right. And they say let the game come to you. So if the game comes to you and it's fast and it works out, take advantage of the moment. But we've already seen how Jackson can take advantage of you.
You telegraph that. Morse code. Google it if you don't know what that is. D. I'm throwing Jackson the ball. You saw he was open. Get it to him right away. As soon as you just stare him down, and we'll see that Sunday in the Super Bowl, you're going to get that one intercepted or turned over.
And Weston Ranch not on the same page with that pass. And we got a turnover. Contreras back into the game.
So at the quarter, we can Coach Teeman to tell his team, let's go back to spacing and asserting ourselves and playing with confidence. And for Coach Walker of the Bruins, stay out of foul trouble and let's really possess the basketball and give us an opportunity. Scott with another missed three, meaning another opportunity for the Bruins not to cut this down to a possession.
So they've got the last shot here. That's Coyleton. Dribbling around, they give it out to Wilburn. Now we're under 10 seconds. Spin inside, bounce pass. Throws one up, and it goes for Jordan Johnson.
Fearless going right against Jackson, and that's a great play to finish the quarter.
So at the end of 3, it is Weston Ranch 45, St. Patrick St. Vincent's 40. We'll pause for the intermission between the quarters and come back to you at the start of the final 8. You're tuned in to the 2020 Crushing the Valley, presented by the Grind Session and Tanager Sports.
So the old movie when Kevin Bacon is directing the band through the parade in what was really in Oregon. All is calm, and hopefully that's the message that the players from Weston Ranch received in the break between quarters, because they've been playing a good basketball game. You got to get better spacing, better passing, and those opportunities will come to them.
Let's get past to Coylton. And Jackson tips it in on accident.
We'll give the basket to Johnson, but Jackson was responsible. But although they missed the three, much better spacing, and you could see the calmness in that possession of the Cougars. 7-point lead.
On the inside, Alexander's blocked.
Johnson in the paint once again with his defense.
Quick three. And Johnson blocked by Jackson.
We call those Wilson Burger, serve back hot, the old Bill Russell block shot, but only 2 of those for Jackson today's. And it'll be 33 on the shot clock.
So we got another spot to clean up on the floor here.
And Johnson, the sophomore, will check in for Jalen Scott of the Bruins. So often you go to a game and they don't have the mop underneath the basket, and it's cartoon.
Everybody
you don't want to
with
see
their feet,
that. Yeah.
right. It'll be Wilburn on the inbound pass. Now they're switching it up. It'll be Lindsay. And a foul gonna be called on Contreras, number 3, for the reach on Wilburn. Only the 3rd foul. So a low foul count here, 3-2.
And the officials have let him play. You hear people in the background. I have no problem with that.
Coylton off on the shot. And a foul on the offense. See, that was on number 13, Jordan Johnson.
He was using Jackson as a lever to get that rebound, and that's the benefit of having 3 officials. They've let him play, but that one's obvious. When you gain advantage by fouling, it's going to be called.
And you always like when the refs don't get too involved, because if they're too involved, it messes with the pace of the game, it gets people out of rhythm. So I think they've done a great job in this one. It's been consistent both ways. Jackson playing pretty high this possession.
It's keep away from Deshaun on this possession. Never touched the basketball.
So a turnover. Wilburn with it. Goes right at him and draws the foul. This one on Fafita.
Wilburn, as we've said several times, his competitiveness goes right into attack mode, and with a couple of made free throws, it'd be the largest, tied for the largest, equal the largest lead of the game for Weston Ranch. And we've got substitutions coming in for the Bruins after the free throw.
Got one official staying busy between reffing and mopping.
If I'm that official, these 2 guys are going to hear from me.
So where's our rotation?
Yeah. I mean, once, twice, come on, guys.
And Wilburn knocks down his first as a couple seniors check back in for the Bruins. That's Nato and Jalen Scott.
And I love Wilburn turned to the bench and told his coach, I've got number 1, meaning he'll guard Jalen Scott, averaging 14 a game for Coach Walker. calls out a play. I would imagine somehow 22 would touch the basketball. There you go.
Gets his own rebound. The putback is off. Give him 2 rebounds this possession and a bucket.
Once, twice, 3 times in a lady.
Lead back to 7. Still plenty of time if you're the Bruins, but they got to start getting some stops. And I think
Jackson got away with a foul right along underneath the basket.
Yeah, another one of those forced passes. Jackson just not ready for it or slightly out of his reach.
It's a 2-on-2 with your 2 4-year players, and you can't mess that one up, especially in the fourth quarter.
He'll try another 3. So Pitts has been off from the 3-point line, at least here in the second half. And a foul as Jaden Alexander went up strong.
When I was mentioning he could get off the floor, I wasn't kidding, and goes into attack mode and has the shot blocked but draws a foul and will get a couple of free throws, and it's always, well, you got to make the free throws, but always good to score when you're trailing. I think the last couple of possessions, the Cougars have settled for shots.
You know, they always say when you want to win a ball game, you've got to win the battle of the turnovers and the free throws. And I think that's been the struggle for St. Patrick this game. Definitely first half turnovers were a factor. Wilburn off the dribble. What a shot. He goes into the stands.
The lost art of the mid-range jumper, not to Wilburn. Woo! If you have your back turned to him, Mr. Alexander will go into attack mode, and not enough Cougars turn and face the basketball, and he smells blood. He's going to go into attack mode.
That's back-to-back possessions now for him to get to the free throw line.
And he's been denied at the rim a few times, but he's also been successful. But I appreciate the opportunity, but he's missed the front end of the 2 free throws. Gets a little encouragement from his teammate, Jackson.
They're only 2 fouls away from the bonus, which would thoroughly help them right now if they can make those shots.
Well, they're 3 fouls away from having another team in the bonus, so got to get stops here.
There's the fadeaway. Wilburn can't be stopped right now.
He's shot that a million times in his life. That's way too easy. It's an easy jump shot that he practices, but that's a no-brainer. See, the times where Deshaun has caught the ball at the top of the key, throw those out and go and pass and then set right there and rinse and repeat. It doesn't have to be that difficult.
When he gets that spin floater where nobody can get to it.
It's an assertive move versus where you get the ball at the top of the key. You're the biggest guy in the gym. All eyes are upon you. And as soon as you put the ball on the floor, it's going to be like me at the steak buffet. You know, we're all over it. You go and throw that ball and go and reset. And the 3 or probably 5 times he's done them, it's easy layups or a dunk.
No, without question on that one. So right now, the Bruins trail by 7, and you have to imagine coach is in there telling them exactly what you just said. Let's get them down low. Let's work it to them. If they crash, we're going to kick it back out.
And defensively limit the Cougars to 1 shot. But when it gets down to this time of the game, although Johnson has been very strong today. Gavin Wilburn is playing with the ultimate confidence.
Yeah, they cannot allow him to continue to get into the paint so easily.
Yeah.
Coylton with the handoff to Haley. Skip over to Wilburn, 15 on the shot clock. Good defense by Scott. Contested shot. What else can you do about it?
Right in the face of Jackson. I mean,
Outside of
there's
blocking it.
bubbles of confidence just oozing off Gavin Wilburn right now. He knew exactly what he's going to do, yet there was a pace to that offense. You say, well, God, are they trying to work clock? No, they're being assertive and playing with confidence.
Good box out by Lindsay there.
And they come up with the loose ball off the physical play underneath the basket by Johnson.
You know, all too often teams get a lead and they change up what got them there. It's Coylton with the floater. Weston Ranch not doing that. They're keeping them, in what happened. They've been attacking. That's what got them there. Now they lead by 11.
Largest lead of the game. So there's a foul on the baseline, but he's called for the foul, I get it. But that's good team defense. Guys got out of position, the old cliche of helping the helper, and Haley was called for the foul. But at least he had vision of the basketball and wasn't going to be just an easy pass and dunk or layup to Jackson. They're making them earn the points, but Wilburn is playing with a lot of confidence.
Jackson got the rebound, missed the putback, but you got to think his game is being put off by the great defense of Johnson.
And when you it's late in the game, you start with those. He's right at the rim, but there's a body between him and the basket.
And that one rims out. But I agree, somebody constantly on Jackson
with a body,
it wears you down. And that's a block. He had a charge set.
He turned his body, and he started the flop too early, and he turned his shoulders.
That was he worried how much that was going to hurt?
I don't know.
Or did he realize
and
he was going to
I'm not
Euro?
doubting his passion, the weight and physicality that he's played with today. But hey, he prevented an easy shot and dunk to the basket. But then Jackson with the first free throw.
It's like we've said, no easy baskets at this point in the
certainly.
game. You're going to earn it if you're going to get them.
And when he gets close to the basket, I'm not saying that they're just giving up there, but they're being smart about it, knowing, okay, he's got the basket, let's move on, versus hammering him and giving him three-point opportunities. But especially here, they've just put a body on him so consistently. And that wears on you, especially the Bruins played a game last night against El Cerrito. But really appreciate the way the Cougars are playing today.
Jackson knocks them both down. That puts us back in single digits, a 9-point lead.
So the Bruins have only committed 4 team fouls. So they've got a while to go before the other team's shooting free throws. But you don't want to foul this late into the shot clock, but that's a wide open look.
That's a miss, and Contreras up quick to Scott.
Gobble, gobble. Johnson eating at the rim all day long. And Wilburn with the ultimate confidence. I have no problem with them having a 9-point lead and taking the ball to the basket right there, playing to win. He's really finishing this game strong.
It's almost like when teams have that lead and they pull it out instead of attacking, it's like they're playing scared to an extent.
Right.
And you become vulnerable and that defense can steal or
and you don't want to take away his passion
Nope.
and his energy. So, and it was one-on-one. It wasn't 1-on-3. And so I like that.
Yeah, one-on-one for him, the way he's played in this game, I'll take it every possession.
They're looking to extend a winning streak, move it to 6. after at one time this year they were 6-10.
So they could end up 12-10 after this.
Oh, that's great defense by Johnson. And any college coaches that are watching this game or here in today, you gotta put Mr. Johnson on your radar.
I mean, that's what, a 6-inch height difference, and he's playing them like they're looking eye to eye.
And it's not always been one-on-one, but that's fine. Wilburn has helped him. His teammates have helped him down in the low block. You got to show various looks, but Johnson and Wilburn's physicality, and then Coilton's ability to kind of space things and take advantage. They had a timeout, and I think it was a great timeout by Coach Stevens, and they've really kind of not slowed things down, but they've really been decisive on offense.
Well, this has definitely been a fun one. It's 58-48. Weston Ranch on top of St. Patrick, St. Vincent. Minute 36, still plenty of time if you're the Bruins. But at the players you just mentioned, you got to stop them.
So it's getting this time of year for the Bruins. 4 of their 7 losses have been 4, 8, 2, and 3. They've had a couple of times where things didn't go right for them without getting too negative. But when it gets down to when they've got Salesian on February 4th that we'll be covering on NorCal Sports TV, and we'll see Salesian later on tonight, you can't have these mistakes, and you see what Western Ranch has done, and if they've taken advantage by playing really good in the key.
And Jackson attacks the rim.
There was a few wrist slaps there, right, Skyler?
That's the whole argument with LeBron. Gets fouled more than anybody, but no calls because of how strong he is.
Yeah.
Jackson could probably relate to that struggle. But they call one there on the Bruins.
So there's I'm sorry, cut you off. But he slowed the ball. He looked like he's going to the basket and drew the foul versus being in a bad situation where he could possibly get trapped. But they're not in the bonus yet. One foul away from being in the bonus and shooting a free throw.
Johnson has it. Pass to the wing. Double team and trap it everywhere, and they foul. It's Jalen Scott who picks up the foul. Now we're in the bonus. At the line will be number 13, Jordan Johnson. And
if my math is correct, Coach Steven looking for a win 160 today. His 9th season at Weston Ranch.
First one good for Johnson.
And that's a great sign because Johnson's played most of the game. He's played very physical, and he's tired. But go up late in the game, and then I jinx him. And he makes the first free throw. Because that's all you want at this point. You're splitting free throws, you're okay. If it's closer, obviously you want more. But I really appreciate how him and Wilburn have played today.
Scott off the dribble. That's a miss. Gets his own rebound. Short on that shot. Now it's Coilton. And Scott with another foul.
Just ask him about how Johnson played today.
So Coilton at the line for the free throws.
He's in double figures today and got the Cougars off to a good start, and making your free throws with the lead in the 4th quarter will get you the W.
The second one extends it to an 11-point lead. Scott up quick. Now the pass to Alexander. Coylton was out of bounds when he grabbed it, and that'll stay with the Bruins. On the inbounds. Pass to the big man. And the dunk's off. Alexander up and in.
That move by Deshaun was kind of a nutshell of the day that the Bruins have had.
So it is a Bruin timeout. They trail by 9 with 34 even on the clock, and anything's possible. But the way this game is going, it feels like the Bruins are going to have to completely 180 how they played up to this point.
Yeah, well, you sit back and you watch this film, and there are some clips that you go, we need to duplicate this. And then here's when we've lost games, kind of this is how we've lost games. We've just been sloppy with the basketball. And when those things, when it's getting late in the year, you're getting ready to turn into your second half of league play, conference play, you got to clean those things up if you want to get where you want to go in the postseason. And this is Coach Walker has done a great job. As we mentioned, they were the 2014 or 2017 D4 champions, and they're playing tough competition. They understand that, but it's fine playing tough competition. You got to learn from it, and possessing the basketball is very important. I love this inbound play.
It's like a blue 42.
We're going 7-on-7 here, even with 5 guys. Coach Steven wanted to talk about the 49ers, not the game here beforehand, because I'm fortunate enough to keep stats for the 49ers radio broadcasting. Is Tim Ryan here today? No, he's not going to be here today, but love Coach Steven and his passion. And thanks to both of these coaches for helping us prepare for this game, and hopefully it's reflected in the broadcast.
So that sends Coylton back to the line, who made his last 2.
I've never seen that from an inbound play. It was brilliant.
Jackson with the lay-in. They trap, and just about a steal for Tariq Johnson. 7-point lead, 13.4. Give it to Wilburn. Trap him. And we'll dribble this one out, so that'll do it. Weston Ranch with the victory over St. Patrick St. Vincent, 61-54. Mikey Davis will have the post-game interview with Gavin Wilburn, our player of the game. Made his presence known throughout the entire match. So we'll wait just a couple seconds here, and we'll kick it over to Mikey.
Gavin Wilburn, player of the game. He finished the game with 11 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, and a couple steals. Tell me how you feel about your performance that game.
It started off slow. I couldn't make a lot of shots, and at halftime I worked on my jumper, worked on my form, and came back in the fourth quarter and scored.
Jordan Johnson came to play for you tonight. You had another person with you that could come and bring some energy and bring some scoring to the table. So you had a teammate that played very well tonight. If looking at the score sheet, just seeing 11.7 rebounds, you wouldn't see a lot of stats from your score sheet on paper, but. You had to watch the game to see the presence that was felt by you this game. Intensity, defense, offense, all around. You played a great game today, so congratulations on that. Yep, see you. In about 6 minutes, we'll get this next game here going.
thing about basketball I love